But I want the discipline to be the framework into which I will work through the quality of prayer. And so already in one day, this is our time right now, and that is get up. First thing, thank you, my wife, for all this instruction. I'm still so young at this. I've always been a good man of prayer, but not in the discipline of individual prayer. The discipline of saying each and every day, as faithful as I brush my teeth, as faithful as I do my exercises, more so. When I wake, I must commit myself to an hour minimum of prayer. Sometimes it's dead time, woefully distracted time. And yet I believe God will honor. And it is not like a Pharisee saying I'm doing this to show off. It is on the contrary. It is saying I need to be shaped and to shape myself into that person I would long to be, a holy man of God. And so also as, we commit ourselves to exercising, we realize that there's a point at which we have to commit ourselves to some minimum to begin. And we may not be so energetic, so fervent about it in its beginnings, and yet we must do it. Just as in writing fiction, I would say there were days I didn't want to write, but I had to sit down and write anyway. And so oftentimes that became the time of editing. I had a clearer head in that regard, more sober-minded. And yet, oftentimes, that would lead into my most creative moments as well. And so also is our daily reading of the Word. That can take 7 chapters and more. And our physical exercise. There you have it. There's the meat of the day. And I have writing that I do. That's the meat of the day and taking care of the children. O Lord, sustain us. O Lord, sustain us.
I took this one and it swims. I took it and then I still.
Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. That is where we're at. That is where I'm at. I want to be in the vine. John 15, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I need to memorize it. No, it's 3 and 4, I believe. In any case, I need my sustenance to be coming fully from Jesus, that it will uphold all the gifts, all the grapes that will come out from it, all the fruit, that I be supplied with the nourishment of Jesus every day, strengthened every day. And so, I must believe also that it is God who leads right now. And it is God who will say, now David, you see that there is no way that you can get there. You see that your resume will not work. You see this, right? I say yes. And you see that by all your might, you cannot lift this tree here. You cannot pick it up and move it. You cannot change these circumstances. And I must say, right. And come forward. And it is now time to go into that interview. It is now time to go into that work. And it will be by God's might. It will be. It must be. Because He knows the gifts He's given me and my wife and how He chooses to use them. And this is our obedience. God used these gifts in me. I have squandered them otherwise. What would I pretend to do with my life? Anything more than what I've done with it so far, which has not been bad. Even as a Christian, I've been productive. But it is not all of what the Lord would have of me. And it is first of all of my trust. And so He will bring me into His place of service. That will see He has all things already prepared. And that it is for me to serve them up. And there is nothing extraordinary about it, but to serve what has always worked all the time, the same meal regularly. This is what works. There is no bells and whistles, nothing special in the words that I'll be able to offer, but the sustenance of truth. The same meal He's been serving to the same people throughout generations, to the lost and to the saved, that they might be uplifted
But I took a
It's the
little
same
big
meal.
one. I took a baby one. This big. And then I took 2 baby shots.
So there's nothing razzle-dazzle about it.
So I put them in
But faith, the power of Christ in us.
I took these 2.
We've stepped out in faith, and it is now been announced. And I do believe that this has been a time where the Lord has pulled us back, has retreated us, as you would do the prophets, so that there's a long period of silence. And people would not see us for a time. We've been more or less hidden away, though we've had testimony here too. I'm so glad. Everywhere we've gone, we've had positive testimony in the immediate lives around us. People have seen Christ alive in us. And it's an honor. And now that we've spoken Christ out loud, we've spoken this testimony, it is no longer our lives that are in line here. It is no longer our testimony that's in question here. It is the testimony of Jesus Christ, because that is who we announce. That is what we follow, this faith. I cannot step to the left or the right. All things are held accountable. Every word that comes out of my mouth right now.
Like, this was Knuckles' map.
These days I just want to work more and more on simple things, kindness. I want to make sure that when I come into my work and to my dying day, I'm a kind person. I want to be kind. But I still look again to 2 Peter chapter 1 and verses 5 through 8, I believe it is. And there's a whole list of progressive things, I believe it was. And if you have these things and they are increasing in you, you are neither fruitless nor useless. So just wanting to pray up these things, these disciplines is already so wonderful. Sober-mindedness, self-discipline, knowledge, love, godliness.
It was this big and this long. And then I swam to the surface. Yeah, it was this big and this long.
I have never felt more a man in my life
This big and this long.
than in these last 2 years. And I pray that it shows, not for me, but for Christ in me, to show that He transforms, that they will say, people will be able to say, something happened to that man, and it cannot be held accountable to me, but to God in me, to Christ in me. Patience.
Yeah, this thing. Yeah, I took
And so here we are.
Yeah, I took this thing. Yeah.
My son loves maps. He loves atlases. Well, it goes to the National Geographic we just got, baby. So how about you can lay it on the floor and look at it. But I don't want it to be tossed around because it will easily rip, okay? Thank you. Lay it on. You're about to rip it now, baby. Okay, you can lay it on the floor, like I said. And so, Uliera got all A's for her first year of homeschool. Yay!
Yay!
And kudos to her fabulous teacher, Mommy. And Uli in Waverly this year will be having his first test, or next year? Next year. Okay. He's being schooled now, but doesn't have to be tested yet. So, there you have it. This is us for right now.
That thing that was under the whale.
Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord.
Yeah, the thing that was
Amen.
under the whale.